When someone suffered a great loss, and that can be loss of health, loss of their job, loss of their marriage, or worse, loss of a loved one, it's hard to know what to say. It is. It's hard to find the right words. And when someone's in that deep grieving, they're very sensitive, and there's almost nothing you can say to make it better. So our culture just comes up with these like cultural norms of things to say, and even expectations, or I would say hope. I would say hope more than expectations. We hope something for the grieving person. We just want them to get better. We just want them to be happy. We just want their pain to stop. So what we've learned to say are things like, everything happens for a reason. They're in a better place now. You can always, get another job, or they don't deserve you, or you're going to be stronger than you were before, and stay strong. And, think of how much you're going to get, how much growth you're going to get out of this, and just stay positive and all of these things. And the thing about all of these comments is they're not wrong. But like I've said this a lot lately, because it has impacted me so deeply, because the past couple of years, I've had to grieve a lot of things. I've had to grieve being able to ever run again or dance. I had to grieve losing like my savings, losing the love of my life, losing my circle of friends, losing my job, losing my home. And then just recently, I'm now grieving the loss of one of the most important people in my life. I mean, she's one of my very best friends. But so it's just, I the past couple of years, like I've had a lot of things said to me. And the thing about when people, so like one of the phrases I love so much, that because it's resonated with me so deeply, is like, grief, it's a broken heart, not a broken brain. And when someone's grieving deep loss, they intellectually understand things. They intellectually understand and that things happen for a reason, and that someone could be in a better place, or that they can come out of this stronger. So pointing that out to them isn't soothing, because they understand these things. But what happens when we tell someone grieving these comforts, like offer these comforts, however true they may be, and however easy you can see it as the person saying it, like you're looking at the person, you're just like, gosh, I just want you to be okay. I love you. I want your pain to stop. Like, you really will be okay. And that's all I hope for you. But when you offer these comforts, there's an implied second part to it. It's like, everything happens for a reason. So stop feeling like that. They're in a better place. So get over it. Like, you're going to come out of this better on the other side. So get over it. Like, move on. There's this implied thing of like, and I know people don't mean it that way. It's just, that's what it feels like when you're the griever. It feels like I'm being vulnerable right now. I'm ripped to shreds. I'm hurting. I'm in pain. So when you're telling me these things, it makes me feel like you don't understand my pain, or that my pain is irrelevant, or my pain isn't valid. Like, I know you don't want me to feel the pain. I know you care, and I know you're just trying to comfort me, but you're invalidating how I feel right now, and how I feel hurts, and I don't know how long I'm gonna hurt. And I've spoken on this a lot of times before. When we shove down how we really feel, we shove it down with guilt and shame for feeling them in the first place. So it's like, not only do you not feel understood, but then all of a sudden you start to feel a little shame and a little guilt for feeling that way to begin with. Like, you start thinking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I grieve in the way people think I should? Why can't I be stronger than I am? Why am I having such a hard time being positive? Like, will I ever feel myself again? Like, will I ever just love life as much as I did before again? And you can start to feel a little isolated or lonely when the comforts you're giving are things that have that second implied sentence of, so don't feel the way you feel. And it's not because people don't think you should feel that way. It's just they don't want you to feel that way because they care, and they don't want you to have that pain anymore. But when you get that kind of comfort, it just doesn't feel like that. Like, it's not, you intellectually understand these things, you get it, but it's a broken heart, not a broken brain. and it's your heart that's hurting, and your heart can be irrational, unpredictable, and uncontrollable. I think another cultural thing is like, we have been brought up on amazing movies, amazing stories, and we thrive and we cling to stories of hope and heroes. And like we expect, like when someone, we hope, I don't like the word expect for this because it's not that. It's we wish and we hope for people that when they get knocked down and they're hurting, that they come out better on the other side and that their life has meaning and purpose. And it does. That's a whole different video. I can tell you how much like, that's a different video I could go into, but it can. It's like when you get pain and you get knocked down, it certainly can give your life a lot of meaning and purpose. Just maybe not in that moment, and that's okay because you need to, those feelings need to be felt or they're never going to go away. They need to be allowed and not shamed and understood. And you know what, the whole hero thing, it's like maybe some of these losses, like if you have an amputated leg or permanent paralysis or death of a child or whatever. Like, I'm not the judge of how painful something is, but sometimes being a hero means you are able to live your life and just be okay. Like, that is a hero thing. Like, sometimes when you suffer big loss like that, just getting to a point of living your life and getting out of bed and being okay with your life and being okay with being awake. Sometimes that is being a hero. Sometimes just getting to that point is really, really, really hard. That is heroic. But this, like, you know, when someone suffers big loss, they have all this pressure of all these people's hopes and wishes for them that they will just come out on the other side, just like with a cape and a big smile on. And I don't know if being a hero always really looks like that in real life. Like you might come out with them finding joy and happiness and passion in ways you didn't before. And that's heroic. But it doesn't always have to look up in this pretty package of coming out like, you know, stronger and prettier and like all these things than before. Anyways, and so yeah, like that, it's hard to talk to people when they're going through such great loss. And so it's like, well, what do you say? And I think more than anything, people just want to know that they are loved unconditionally. Whatever you can say or whatever you can do to make that person that suffered loss, because they're one of their biggest worries is like, my life has been rocked. My life is different. I've suffered huge loss. Like, will I be as good as I was before? Will I be greater than or will I be less than? Will I be okay? And what they want is for people to know, you know what? Regardless of your loss, I love you either way. Like, you're amazing either way. And you can say that in whatever form is like, makes sense for you and that person in that relationship. But they're craving knowing that they're still loved regardless of that huge identity shift or that huge loss or that loss of love or whatever it is. Like, they just want to know that they still matter, that they're still okay, that they're still lovable and worthy. So anything that you can do to reinforce that. And then let's say it's just like you really are desperate to like pull them out of that hole, which is something they have to want. It's something they have to do themselves. You can't do it for them. Nobody can do anything for somebody else. They have to want to do it themselves. And sometimes it sucks when you are looking at someone just being self-destructive and not helping themselves. And it's really, really frustrating. But telling them things or telling them how they should feel is not the way to get them out of that hole. That's just going to make them feel worse. The way to help them is by asking questions. Like one great question is to say, what do you want? What do you want? Because in my experience, talking with so many people, the people that are in the darkest, the people that are in that victim mindset, and when you're in a victim mindset, it's really, you're not on a good path. Really, there's a way to be grieving and not feel like you're the victim. You know? There's a way to be grieving and be sad and not want to get out of bed and still be a hero of your own story in your own way. But once you fall into that victim mindset, you're in a bad place, and it's hard to get on the right path. But what I've noticed is the ones that are in a dark victim mindset versus the ones that are in a sad, heroic one. The victims, when I ask them, what do you want? They tell me, I don't know. They have no vision. And if you have no vision and you have no want, then how would you get out of bed? You have nothing to go towards. You don't want anything. How can you get anything you want if you don't even know what you want to begin with? And so I think just asking questions, probing questions to get someone thinking from what they lost and how bad their life sucks and how unsafe the world is and how unlucky they were and how there's nothing they can do about it and they're screwed and their life's over, to get them kind of at least having a perspective shift. Just help guide their mind by asking questions. What do you want? If you had a magic wand and could wave it, what does your life look like? What makes you happy? And at the time, they might respond in a way that's unhealthy, and that's okay, but you've put the question in their brain and you've got them thinking. And if you can do that enough times in an unconditionally loving way, I would hope that you've probed them to start thinking about what they want. And then that might give them a goal and a reason to get out of bed and start to shift their whole life a little bit, because they'll want something. So anyways, thank you for all of the wonderful messages and all of the loving support and everything. As always, humanity to me is just really, I think at the core of humanity, people are just really, really good. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, the color of your skin, like everyone just has this like deep, like amazingness and love and support. And I think humanity and human to humans are just beautiful, amazing people. So thanks for watching and have a good day. Bye-bye.